Pound that water.
Official propaganda report water.
Yeah. But we could sell waters, too, to liberals who need to flee the country. Pound that water.
Little care packs.
Yeah,
liberal care packs.
Yeah, there you go.
Little
Authoritarian
crackers.
protection care packs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This water will give you more hydration to help you get the hell out of here before Trump puts you in a concentration camp and forces pregnancy on you.
Oh, my gosh.
Man or woman. Baby's coming out somewhere.
More forced pregnancies.
And we exaggerate and joke about stuff like that. Are we live here? So we got like the 6 platforms now. And there we go. Now we're live. What's up, Denver? Could you hear me, Denver, until just now or before could you hear me? Because I have to push go live on Rockfin, which I forget to do sometimes, and I'm always curious when the people watching are able to start listening. But that's a problem for another time. System back up and running. Thank you guys who tuned in earlier because I did a show after my system crashed. I just needed to make sure things worked, and I went a little longer than expected, as I always do, and then it crashed again. And now we're back again, and Ian is here with me this time. Yeah. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Can you see my lights better now, or is it still? It's probably still out of the frame.
I can see the lights
a little bit,
but everything is it's just out of focus. And I think
you know what? I'll just wrap myself in the lights. How's that? I'll wrap myself in the lights, and I'll weave a Christmas sweater out of the stockings behind me so that people see it, because all of my effort is for naught so far. Is what I feel like. I mean, because of Trump and what he's going to do to all of us.
This is all Project 2025.
Everything is Project 2025. I know. I've read it, all of it, and I hate it. Yeah. That's just the best part of all of that to me, is that people, you could say that to any activist.
Remember when they were told, they said, we asked them, and they kept saying, well, don't ask us. Go talk to Doug.
Go talk to Doug.
Go talk
he knows
to Doug.
everything.
Doug knows everything.
My husband, Doug, knows everything about it. Doug didn't know shit about it. He didn't know a damn thing about it.
No shit. He knew less than his wife.
You know what Doug was? Doug was just the most confident bullshitter in the group, is all he was.
I know.
Let
me tell you about Project 2025. It's terrible. All of it.
Dude.
Every
remember the guy who, he was kind of, he's an older guy. He was a Southern guy. He hated
the
Trump.
Diapers guy?
Yeah, who goes, you hear what Adam Kendra said about the smell. It just all around Trump. Yeah. And, which I had heard that. I'd heard that on CNN before, so really? I knew that what he'd been watching. Like a couple days ago, I saw, I think it was MSNBC, like a couple of people saying literally exactly what he said to us in that video. And they gave no because I asked him, what's it smell like? And he said, any and everything. And that part of it at the time, I was like, did he just forget what the specifics were, or were there no real specifics given? And when I was watching a couple of days ago, the people described the smell, and they said any and everything. I was like, that's actually what he was told, is that it smells like any and everything. Which some things smell good, so I don't know what the combination. It's just.
Well, I heard Alex Jones says Hillary Clinton smells like sulfur.
Sulfur, yeah. That is what Obama made a comment about that once. He said, this guy, Alex Jones, says we smell like sulfur.
I mean, that's crazy, right? That's crazy.
Everybody knows the only thing I smell like is Mike Obama's dick. That's all I smell like.
That's all I smell.
Everybody has their own. Obama's a little bit easier to do an impersonation of than. Well, actually, Obama and Trump, you do a good Biden. I can't do a Biden.
Yeah.
I think Biden probably smells like Obama.
All right, man. Okay, man. You got to start with that. That's how I jump into it. You got to have a phrase.
You get a pardon.
Okay, man.
All right, let's do it. I don't want to take. I know you gotta go. I don't take too much of your time, but pardon me, if you will, preemptively. Drones over Jersey and the FBI's hypocritical privacy warning. What I want to talk about is the pardons. We all know Hunter got a pardon recently.
Yeah, well, I agree with it too. 100%.
I agree with the part about the gun and the taxes. I thought that Trump should have said, as soon as Hunter got convicted, he should have said, I promise on day one I will I will pardon Hunter for the unconstitutional gun charge that's in violation of the Second Amendment and the tax charge because taxation is theft, right, my libertarians with your 3%?
Yeah.
And then right after that, we'll investigate him for the real things that he did. I thought he should have done that, but he can't do it now because Joe pardoned Hunter for that and for like anything he's done for the past 11 years. Isn't that crazy?
He can't be charged for it, but you still could investigate him and sully his name.
That is one of the silver linings to being a degenerate like Hunter is it's very difficult to sully his name any more than he's already done so himself. There's videos of him in sensory deprivation tanks smoking crack, drinking slits, and masturbating.
That's art, Brad. He was making art.
It is art. The guy has like a series of self-masturbation videos. There's one of him running on the beach naked. I don't know, maybe it's Delaware. And just wanking off, running up the beach. Not that I've watched this a lot. I've just seen the clips briefly that are fuzzied out, okay? Don't judge me. I'm just doing research.
What do you think happened to this guy as a kid?
I think his dad abused him emotionally.
Daddy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
he didn't get any showers.
I mean, I say that jokingly that Hunter was always sitting outside saying, when am I going to be the one that gets to shower with Daddy? Mm-hmm. Why is it always going to be my sister? But
and both.
I think there's something to it that he did not like. He was never there, and he probably blamed problems in his family on him because he was a problem child because he had no father in his life, and he probably kind of did wish his dad liked to smell him as much as he liked to smell his sister. Like, I kind of feel sorry for Hunter a little tiny bit, not too much.
A tiny bit, not too much, but a tiny bit.
He could truly go on, like he could really rebuild his image by becoming like a Trump supporter and then having the Russian guys who were handling him on this month-long bender where they were just collecting all this compromising information in Las Vegas that was on his laptop, have them film him forcing his dad to shower with him and smell him. Now you smell me, right? That would really do a lot to, I think, because I think some people might want to see Joe Biden tortured. I don't.
Yeah.
But others are a little harsher. So the preemptive pardons, I think, is like one of the best stories there is. I love the fact that the Biden administration is now considering preemptively pardoning people who they're telling us that as soon as Trump gets into office, he's going to go after them and persecute them politically because they're simply trying to fight for our democracy and they're using their public profile and their wealth to do so. They're trying to save us all, and Trump's going to get them, so let's give them a preemptive pardon to save them. The reason I really like this story is because to believe this bullshit, you have to believe that a dictator on his first day in office, when someone comes in from his staff and say, what do you want to do? And he says, go get me everybody in Biden's staff, start with Jill, bring me that queer Adam Schiff. It's time to persecute. And the staffer says, but Mr. President, they got a preemptive pardon. Well, we can't violate that, can we? I'm a dictator, but I'm not willing to violate the preemptive pardons.
Well, it would block him. It would stop the dictator from being. See,
it's the only thing that stops a dictator.
Right, and that would stop a dictator. Mm-hmm.
And they gloss right over that.
I love it.
It's so stupid. A dictator doesn't care about your preemptive pardon. You know? He's not going to go after the 75-year-old white women who
just makes them look guiltier.
It does make them look guilty. And that's the other thing I love about the story is that they can actually spin this into a brilliant move. They can do stuff like, how about we give a pardon to Marjorie Taylor Greene, maybe Lauren Boebert. We slip those in. And, maybe we make them specific too. We go, you know what? Today we are declaring that Marjorie Taylor Greene gets a preemptive pardon for anything that she may or may not have done within the past 3.5 years.
Can they pardon you for future stuff? Like
and anything she might do in the future.
Do in the future.
Yeah.
Get a pardon up to like 2028, 2029.
To 2028, until she's no longer until she's past menopause, she's pardoned. And she'd be like, wait a minute, I didn't do anything. I never asked for this pardon. And Biden could be like,
sure you did.
Sure, honey, give him that little devious wink. Yeah, so that they could actually screw some people over with that.
Yeah, I wonder if Trump's going to just blanket pardon a bunch of J6ers now.
Well, that's what people are they're worried on the Democrat side of it, that this is going to allow him to.
You think this is a prisoner exchange?
It's a prisoner exchange. It's a great way to put it. Yeah. Right. You give me Hunter, and I give you whoever, the guy who walked through the ropes very calmly and politely.
And how about that grandmother that's in prison, federal prison right now?
The woman
singing in front of an abortion clinic. She blocked an abortion clinic. Yeah, there's like a 70 or 60-something-year-old grandmother in jail right now, in federal prison.
For how long?
A couple of years. Yeah,
for sitting in front of an abortion
clinic?
clinic?
It's a federal crime to block an abortion clinic. It's a federal crime.
Really?
Yeah.
Were the people trying to get into the abortion clinic?
Yeah, and you can't get
only
past
trying to go through her. They couldn't go around?
No, she was tough, man. She probably did CrossFit.
Okay, so she was Stacey Abrams.
Very sturdy 65-year-old.
It's the only path is through her, and she would. That is crazy. I didn't know that.
Anybody. Yeah.
There's also that woman who's in jail. She's probably a grandmother also. I think she's almost 70. I think it's in Michigan for 9 years for doing something with the tampering with election machines. I can't remember exact charges are. She was targeted. There's no doubt about that. But what's going to be interesting is I don't think that they'll actually, well, they might. The purpose being served here by putting this out there that they're considering preemptive pardons, which, by the way, the article says that Biden's administration is considering it and that Biden is not involved in the discussions at all yet, which I think is so hilarious. Yeah. It's such a big story. And the president is...
Do you think he's getting up before 10 a.m.?
Well, he's... I don't know. Maybe not. It depends. So if Biden were to die, or like his heart were to stop, you got to get me a 5-year-old girl, and you got to just wave her in front of his nose. He wakes up. So maybe that's how they wake him up every morning. But yeah, it just illustrates, not that anybody didn't know this, that he's not in charge of anything. I mean, this story's been everywhere the past couple days. Yeah. And then they throw in at the bottom of it, the president's not even involved in any of the discussions because he was so focused and he's so tired from the effort he spent on getting his son pardoned, is what the article says.
I mean, the pardon was a lot of writing that he didn't have to do.
Right. So this is where transparency would be fun, is to see these deliberations and Biden having to put pen to paper here. How do we know he signed that? If I'm Trump and I really want to mess with him and be like, how do we know Joe's not involved in these deliberations? How do we know he even signed that? Let's get a signature comparison here. I want to see this happen.
We're gonna get a signature expert in here, and we're gonna uncover the truth.
Barron, my son, is the signature expert. Duck your head. Come in, son. Yeah. The thing they have to worry about if they were to do it, let me step back for a second. This serves a purpose even if they don't do it, which it serves that purpose of Trump is so truly scary and authoritarian that even Biden and his administration is willing to risk going to such an extreme measure of preemptive pardons to protect the fighters of democracy who are trying to stop him. And that's going to be imparted on people who are brainwashed, thinking about moving out of the country, maybe radicalized enough to get compelled to go commit acts of violence to stop Trump. Is all of these things fit into this? He's so scary. He's so dangerous. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. But if they did do it, what I would want to know is where do they draw the line? You know, who's the person who was right there who could have gotten pardoned but didn't? Does Reid Hoffman get on this list? I would think so. If I'm Reid Hoffman, I'm lobbying right now. Put me on that list.
Does Ellen get on this list?
Can Ellen come back to the country knowing she's protected by this pardon? No, dictators don't touch preemptive pardons.
Just a blanket liberal pardon.
Yeah, all liberals who have at least $50 million are pardoned. Everybody else is done. If they didn't, so the cutoff, if somebody who thought they should be in there didn't get it, like Reid Hoffman, then I would expect there to be an effort by somebody like that to become a whistleblower. But all of this is bullshit. It's not going to happen, in my opinion. It's just a fun story to keep people angry and afraid. It's like the whole media. It's such a really just insidious fear-mongering operation. And I know it's always been like that, but right now specifically, it's really terrorizing people who buy into
attention? Are they? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think they all are.
Yeah. I don't have I can't quite gauge, because I mean, it feels to me like nobody really gives a shit that Donald Trump is the president.
Yeah, I think that's probably the feeling for most people. There's a lot of people who've seem to have made peace with it, and even like what's his name, Chink Uygur is maybe he's noticing the tea leaves. And
one of my buddies invited me out to do a show in December, and he was like, "Oh, so if this night's gonna be all ladies, but after the next night's gonna be a mix of different comedians," and I'm like. I said to him, I'm like, seriously, why are you having an all ladies night, man? Do we really still need this? It's ridiculous. Like, at what point? This was always my issue with this in comedy. You and I have been involved in a long time. I can tell you from the day.
I've seen a lot of unfunny lady nights.
No, it's not that. I've been involved. What I'm saying is, when I got involved in comedy, all we wanted was more women to get involved. Nobody was like, "Get these ladies out of here."
And look, dude, we had the best looking chicks that performed with us.
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys don't want to put them on stage because they're threatened.
Guys don't want to put them on stage.
There's some guys who they are groups or theaters who having some chicks on stage who might be as funny as them might threaten them. We never had that problem. We were like, come on. We knew that having pretty ladies on stage drew a crowd in.
Damn right it does.
Yeah.
Everyone went to go see Automatic because Sarah. That's
totally, dude. But you know what people didn't go see? They don't go see ladies' nights, right?
No. I said to him, so basically you just put together the WNBA of comedy tonight.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gonna like do some DEI? You gonna do some grants to fund? It's just
dumb. It's just dumb. I was like, why do we have to separate by identities in comedy? Can't we just bring funny people? This is fucking stupid.
And that I completely agree. It's so dumb. It's identity comedy.
Yeah, nobody was keeping minorities and women out of comedy. There was no injustice in improv theaters. There was no injustice happening.
God,
I'm sorry. It just wasn't happening.
We should have become trans performers and done what trans female biological male athletes did to like college sports and just dominated.
Yeah, I know. I think we should have
ladies' night
become trans during the ascendancy of it. I think it's too late.
It's too late now. It's too late now. Yeah. It's past. We missed our opportunity to be a dominant trans ladies' night performers. But even some of the chicks I know who have been asked to perform in ladies' night shows have been like, I don't know why. I don't like doing this. I know.
They all say that.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Well, not all.
They don't want to be. They don't want to. The people I know don't want to be judged on their gender.
Correct.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we want to see at comedy shows. I want to see. Dude, show me the cornucopia of America.
Yeah, and some titties. Show me some titties.
And some titties. And some titties. And some balls.
Show me balls. Look, that you're in some theaters, and that's definitely might happen whether you like it or not, unfortunately. But that's improv. It's a place to grow, and
It would be hilarious to have white men of comedy night.
White straight men comedy.
Yeah, white straight men of comedy night.
Yeah. What do you think your friend, if you proposed that to him, would say?
He would laugh, and he'd be like, "No, but we can't do that."
It's like,
But
why?
he would laugh. He'd
Why?
find it
Why
funny.
can't you do it? It's like it should be a little dangerous.
Why can't I only do it if it was a joke? We could never really do
Be a
it.
little dangerous.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it really, I put that out there to show how stupid the whole thing
It
is.
is. It's
You know,
dumb.
you feel how stupid it sounds to have a only white men night. That's how stupid the whole idea is.
It might be stupid to you because you've had the
Yeah, yeah,
privilege
yeah.
of being a white man
Okay,
all this time that hasn't been afforded to these women.
Yeah. How come my white privilege won't make you shut up? By the power of my white privilege, shut up.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. I get you're not taking
Damn it.
vulnerabilities and
It's not working again.
oppressed
My
people
fucking white
seriously.
privilege never works.
Yeah. I don't think a ton of people are buying into the fear mongering stuff, but they don't need a ton of people to. It's the whole strategy with the Bolsheviks and the communists. It's just this continuing messaging based on based on the level of acceptance they feel the public it has to their messaging, and the more accepting they've gotten the public, then the more radical and the more open they'll be. The less accepting, the more indirect, and the more behind closed doors they'll be. Which is why they're going to go local. Which I'll talk more about that tomorrow. This is an interesting thing they're doing. But the fact is, they never stop. They just change the way that they approach people. But they have a strategy where they radicalize the ones they know they can control, and they convince them that their life's job and purpose is to protect democracy for the future of people like them. And they get that small percentage of people to engage in this direct action, this radical direct action activism that they've been convinced is their moral purpose. Like that guy who was involved in the Reid Hoffman thing. We have to. It's a moral imperative to manipulate and deceive people. That's like the starting point of all of these activism training things. And their goal, in my opinion, is to get just that 3 or 4 or 5% of activists who they can say, hey, go climb over that fence and protect democracy, just like the South Koreans did very quickly when their authoritarian rose up,
Yeah. Well, I mean, if everything's unjust, right? If you convince people that everything's unjust,
Everything.
that it's very easy for them to just disrespect any laws at that point.
Right, because the laws are immoral, and some laws are immoral. I don't
And some
disagree with
laws
that.
are immoral, absolutely.
Do you know who Tina Peters is? Greg says, pardon Tina Peters. Thanks for the tip, Greg. I appreciate that. To look that one up.
Let's partner. Put her on the list. Let's go.
It's wild because there's so many fucking pardons that happen by every president that they don't ever talk about.
Trump should dress up like Santa Claus and just read his pardon list.
Right, just to Joe Biden sitting on his lap.
Yeah.
I think that would be good. He could do like a little film, put the pardons in people's stockings. I'm sure they have stockings in every single prison.
Yeah.
What's a prison without stockings?
Exactly.
Christmas lights. Forrest Mommy says she went to jail.
Christmas prison.
But Gina is free. Is that her sister? Useful idiots and cannon fodder. Moving on. Let's see if there's any interesting quotes real quick from that. Okay, so there are a couple interesting things here about what people who are advocating for these pardons said. So this is a senator, a Democrat senator named, I think, Ed Markey. He said, if it's clear by January 19th that revenge is Trump's intention, then I would recommend that President Biden provide these preemptive pardons to people because they really want our country to be good in the next year. It's just such a making these fucking villains out to be heroes that we need to protect. And then this Representative Brendan Boyle said that he's also for the preemptive pardoning. And he said, this is no hypothetical threat. The time for cautious restraint is over. We must act with urgency to push back against these threats to prevent Trump from abusing his power. It's
So
just,
you have to abuse your power to stop someone else from abusing their power.
it's a moral purpose, is all it is.
You have
It's
to
moral
do it.
abuse. But
It's
you know,
gotta be done. It's got to be done, Brad.
it's
gotta be
just
done.
like, what about all the people who aren't part of it? They're not recommending pardoning anybody who.
Pardon me.
What about the people who firebombed buildings during the George Floyd protest and the police? What about those guys?
Let's just start over. It's a do-over for everybody from here on out.
Everybody
Okay?
gets to do it,
It's a
unless
big
you're
do-over.
unless you walked politely between the banisters on January 6th. Then you don't get shit.
Then no,
Fucking
because
insurrectionist.
You almost destroyed this country.
Absolutely. All right, moving on. The FBI and CISA also doing a little fear mongering as they are warning us against communicating using text messaging on our phones, even talking using our phones. Without they want us to use secure, responsible, encrypted messaging.
The Chinese hackers, right?
Of course, it's Chinese hackers.
Newsflash: they don't speak English in China, so we
No.
got nothing to worry about.
Right. Well, you know, you ain't got to speak English to recognize a dick pic.
That's true.
That's what this is. Cyber espionage is what they're telling us. They're saying you need to worry about cyber espionage that could capture you when, you know, the goal of cyber espionage, which we're pretty familiar with cyber espionage as well. Our government is. It's to find something.
God, that sounds so sexy, right?
It is very sexy.
Espionage.
Yeah.
Very sexy phrase.
Something from someone who has some level of influence or power that you can compromise them with on whatever you're hacking into, and then force them to do things under the threat of exposure. Why are they telling the broader public this? Do you think China's looking through your phone?
Safety. Well, I just use a cup with a string attached to another.
Oh,
cup.
you got the tin
They
can.
can't hack that.
Right. All right. Yeah, we got a long cord too. That's like 40 miles the way that we talk on the phone. Yeah, but what CISA is the one that also said the 2020 election was the most secure in American history. They're very full of shit. And a senior FBI official said the continued investigation into the targeting of commercial telecom infrastructure has revealed a broad and significant cyber espionage campaign. And this group that they're saying is doing this is Salt Typhoon. Every time they tell us something like this, I roll my eyes because obviously they know how to do it better, probably, or at least comparably, and that's never brought up. And we're supposed to just sit here and accept that we're being targeted by this foreign country when we know that the people telling us this are just as capable and
they
motivated.
Currently are listening to us.
Right. Yeah. It's like they didn't just, oh my God, China discovered a new way to invade your privacy that we never knew.
Yeah. They just found out how to do it because we've been doing it.
Oh, exactly. And the fact is, China might be doing that. I'm sure that a lot of countries are. So is our government.
In for some takeout then, huh?
Right. Like every time I get Chinese food, I'm like, let me see your phone. Give me your, because I want to see what if they stole my information when I ordered.
Yeah, I had Chinese tonight. I'm probably compromised.
As soon as you open that fortune cookie.
Yeah.
Yeah, fortune cookies have cameras in them that for the rest of your life they can monitor the inside of you. This the fear mongering for China though has been kind of a theme, and they made it seem like, hold on a second, there was something they said about it that like, okay, it says this guy who is from CISA says he wants Americans to use encrypted apps for their communication. And he wants you to stop sending texts between iPhone and Android because apparently those are more vulnerable than if you're sending iPhone to iPhone. And you know when it shows up green, it means it's an interracial text messaging
No,
chain.
but I can't stand it. I got to be honest with you. I'm an iPhone snob.
You don't
I
like the
can't
green?
I can't stand it.
Would
It's
you date a
fucking-
girl that
It's
had
disgusting.
a
No,
Android?
no, that would be a deal breaker. I'd be like, you have to get an iPhone if you want this to continue.
What if she didn't let you see her phone until like the third date?
Well, we were texting. I would know, unless she was texting me through an encrypted app.
Somebody she got the note from the FBI.
She goes, I only use encrypted apps. So.
Yeah, if you want to get married, you better only use encrypted apps unless you have an iPhone. And then he went on to say that our suggestion is encryption is your friend. Encryption is your friend. Whether it's on text messaging or you have the capacity to use encrypted voice communication. So you can't even talk on your phone. Even if the adversary is able to intercept this data, it's encrypted and it will.
The adversary.
Yeah, it'd be impossible. Yeah.
I like that. The adversary.
They also said in the alert that
apparently, the Chinese have like 600,000 hackers working for them, and it's larger than like any other country. They just hack away.
Would you like to order food or would you like hack information?
You want to order food? No, that's Japanese. Sorry. You want to order food or you want to hack?
Okay, bye-bye, 10 minutes. The interesting part of it,
Japanese.
we could literally do this for like 2 hours, actually.
2 hours. Just those two accents.
We could be completely racist.
Wrong and so fun.
Yeah.
It used to not be an issue just a mere 25 years ago.
Yeah, Dice Clay used to his joke was they blindfold themselves with dental floss, he used to say. You can't do that anymore. The part about this article that stuck out to me is that it said that the FBI, CISA, and NASA said that along with them addressing this issue and using these suggested encrypted apps, that the Five Eyes agencies were also going to be using them. Are you familiar with the Five Eyes? The Five Eyes is a international network of spy agencies that includes the U.S., the U.K., Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. All of the spies from those countries, which make up the allies that would be fighting on our side in a war of the worlds. And they slip that in kind of at the end of the article. Oh, it's not just you. Also, our international allies and their spy agencies are saying their people also need to do it. This, to me, whether this is from China or not, is definitely part of a narrative that wants to instill fear in the minds of people that China is our enemy, that we are going to eventually end up at war with. And I also think the UAP narrative, the drones over Jersey, I think they might eventually be attributed to China because there's some talk of it. I don't know that I believe it. I don't know what Trump's position is or what he might try and do to stop it. It certainly seems as though the current administration wants to propagate this fear as much as possible.
Yes.
Do you fear China?
Me?
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on...
Yeah, how tall they are?
Yeah, it depends.
I remember very short.
I would not want to live in China. There is a guy on YouTube. His name is Serpentenza. I think it's what his name is. Maybe
Serpentenza.
And he is I think he was British. He lived in the UK for quite a while, married someone, had a child, and then he tells the story in one of his episodes about how he barely escaped. And he was there during the introduction of capitalism. I mean, I remember my dad went there in the 90s to go do some consulting stuff. He was an engineer, and they were looking at a factory over there. And it was sounds like it was very different then. I mean, he was like, the guys in the factories, were working on dirt floors and bare feet. But now they do really crack down on things. I mean, I definitely wouldn't want to live there. During COVID, for instance, I don't know if you saw that I saw several different videos where you're in a mall, let's say, and someone tests positive for COVID. They just shut the mall down, and now you're in the mall.
That's where you live.
That's where you are.
Yeah, that's where you hack
everyone.
the phones of Americans is from that mall.
Yeah. What a fucking nightmare. I mean,
yeah.
They do some crazy shit over there.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
Well, I've told you about the fact that they have people go crazy with knife attacks. They run people over all the time in cars, like massive. Like people will get. They call them attacks against society. And
That happens frequently in China.
It happens. It does happen more frequent than here.
Do they not have
because they don't
guns, the citizens?
They don't have guns.
Okay.
No. So this is what they do.
Yeah.
They have no guns. They have no voice. It sounds like a nightmare.
All right. Unless they're Yao Ming, they're not coming to America.
I used to work with a Chinese guy who used to defend it. He used to defend China. And I would say things and like, okay, well, so he's like, oh, everyone's happy. No, the people are the communist government really wants to make sure that everyone's happy. It's very different now. And I said, oh, really? I go, so could you criticize the government? And he goes, oh, no. I go, so everyone's happy, right?
Yeah. So that, I hadn't really thought about it from that angle, but that's what they want people in America to believe about Trump. Is you can't criticize Trump. He promised to use the military to round up anybody who criticized him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really wild.
But I don't think they should be our enemy. I'm just also not going to go live there, and I don't like their values.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think I would want to live there because I don't speak Mandarin, and I think I would feel very out of place. I wouldn't know what to do. Maybe visit briefly, but I don't want to fight there. I mean, the population is huge there.
Enormous.
Their technology is, they don't have the regulations to slow down technological development over there. There's a lot of these military DARPA conversations. They have these panel discussions where the generals that are on them every single time say, it's our Constitution that really it's kind of gets in our way because China doesn't worry about any of that. They don't worry about what people think about blocking free speech or regulations that might slow down technological development or the safety of the subjects they're testing. They just go wild with it. And so they are moving ahead of us, and it's hard for us to catch up because of the Constitution. Whether that's completely true, I don't know, but it would seem when the government has a level of control over all of the corporations,
right,
then you could confiscate any technology that is developed and use it for the government's purposes, which I will say this, the UAP Disclosure Act presented by Chuck Schumer, that Nancy Mace and all these people are saying you must pass this act right now to demand that the government produces all of the evidence of the UAPs and aliens that they've been hiding from us for so many years, finally, because none of our witnesses are actual witnesses, they're like third and fourth hand witnesses that you have to trust. But inside that act is a eminent domain clause that says that the government can confiscate. Eminent domain means that for the purpose of the public good, the government can come take your property away from you.
That's right.
They can confiscate
They
any
give you a
alien.
fair market value for it.
Right. Not, totally fair market value.
Fair market value.
And that includes alien biologics in the definition, in the language of that act. So if an alien were to come here, they're the property of the United States government, basically. But if you were to develop a technology, an AI-related technology, which they recently included, I knew they would do this, in the definition of non-human intelligence, which is what they're calling. They're not saying aliens, they're saying non-human intelligence.
Yeah.
AI. And that would mean that if you develop some groundbreaking AI in your garage, it could make you very wealthy. That the government can say that AI is a non-human alien biologic, and we're going to come confiscate it under eminent domain from the UAP Disclosure Act that we convinced you to support because you wanted to know if aliens were real.
This
or not.
is worse than the Patriot Act. Is that what
It's crazy, man. They can never just write a bill that doesn't have a bunch of hidden bullshit in it.
I know.
You know?
That's really frustrating.
Like, whose job is that? Okay, let's structure this. So it
I'm
seems
not sure
good.
where I'm at with this whole UAP thing. I'm just not sure where I'm at with it.
I think all of it's. I think it's a sci. I mean, I think
That's
it's.
what
I think
think
aliens
it's-
exist, but I think this is bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know. They might.
You're not sure if they exist.
I'm not sure.
If you've ever had an experience where you've questioned maybe if an alien or something not of this dimension, I guess, was involved?
Nope.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
have to
mean,
s-
not
yeah.
of this dimension. Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple of dreams and a psychedelic experience. So there's that. But I those weren't aliens. I don't think that was an
Right.
alien.
Yeah, I don't know. I either I think if I had to bet, I'd bet that they did, and I want to believe, as they say, that is if they're nice. But also, I've gotten to the point where I don't think they would ever actually tell us if the government knew about it.
Would you, if you were,
I don't know.
if you were more advanced,
It would disrupt society for sure.
I mean, if you were the alien, though, would you even contact us? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I have
Bob
no
Lazar is
comprehension.
do you know who Bob Lazar is?
Yeah.
Said some interesting stuff on this. One of his most interesting theories that he talked about is they could be more advanced technologically, yet more primitive than us at the same time.
I've heard that
Which
theory.
is interesting. And it
Yeah.
makes sense if it were some element, he was saying, some element that they might possess on their planet that we don't on ours. If it's more common, it's easier to use. They might, they might have been able to access this technology without being as developed as us as a society.
Yeah. That's definitely possible.
So they're just flying retards.
It is.
Space tards.
They're a bunch of space tards
Ooh,
with
where do we
technology.
go?
That could explain everything.
Dude,
Why they
let's
never come
make
down
it-
here. They don't know what
let's-
to do.
Let's make a show called
Space tards.
Yeah.
This is the time to do space
This is
tards.
the time to do space tards. That would be on the ascendancy.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea actually. If anybody wants to fund space tards, we're accepting donations for space tards right
Space
now.
tards tonight.
A spider says that I ask if anyone's ever told me that I look like I could drum for Metallica. Is Lars the drummer for Metallica?
Lars.
I can see that a little bit.
A
I think he's
little
got eyes a little bit like me. Forrest Mommy says that if they told me, I wouldn't believe it. That's where I am.
Yeah.
Bad Christian says we don't know what women are. They wouldn't visit us. They might not know what women are. I just think that what another life form on another planet in this universe, which is just we're so small in this universe. We're not even close to a speck of sand on a beach. That I don't even know if we have the imagination collectively.
So not
To-
only correct.
Yeah,
but,
to even understand what they might be.
but not only that, but every moment that you and I are together currently, we're actually traveling apart from one another. The universe expands like a loaf of raisin bread in an oven with no walls. So imagine an oven, but there's no oven, and it's a loaf of raisin bread.
It's just yeah.
And so all the little, like the planets and all that stuff are all the raisins. So there's no more matter being created. It's just like expanding, like a piece of raisin, like a loaf of raisin bread. And that's what's happening,
Yeah.
as
So
best we can tell.
you don't look like you're drifting away from me.
I know. It's very slow.
It's a very slow process. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't. So if I'm a government and for some reason I discover aliens exist before everybody else, I know that is going to undermine the power that I have over the public.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that people wouldn't allow me to tell others until there was some way to do it in a way that served whatever the hell we're trying to do. So that's why a lot of people think Operation Bluebeam, where they pretend to do the alien invasion, is going to happen. I have no idea. Now Stoner wants raisin bread. Now
Raisin
you've
bread's
created a
good.
craven.
I love
He's
it. I like
hungry.
that cinnamon swirl raisin bread.
Yeah.
Raisin bread at Waffle House. You got to go
that is
raisin
pretty
bread
good.
with Waffle House.
It's pretty good.
gotta
Do you have a few more minutes to do the drone story? You got to.
Yeah,
you
let's
gotta
do
dip.
one more. Let's do it.
So have you heard about? We were wondering the other day. We're supposed to have the alien invasion start sometime soon. There's been these drones that are being reported over military installations or something in New Jersey. Have you heard about this?
Mm-mm.
It's happening, and apparently the FBI doesn't. They don't know what they are. Nobody knows what they are. Isn't that a little weird?
That is weird.
Because for 2 weeks, apparently, there's been swarms of drones. Apparently, dozens of them that we're told are the size of cars and buses hovering around the skies in New Jersey near important military bases and the homes around them. And the FBI is clueless.
Flummoxed.
We have no idea. What are we supposed to know?
They can't even find a set of binoculars to look at these things.
They have no binoculars.
Nothing.
Every time they put binoculars up to look at it, they see Hunter Biden's dick.
Jeez.
It's not believable that they don't know anything about it. This is like it's so stupid. And somebody said something. I think it was Brucey earlier. I was trying to remember like a very simple word. It was like the simplest word that I can't even remember now. And I was like, why can't I remember this stupid simple word? And he was like, well, you have something that I also can't remember. Too much too much shit in my head from all the fucking news they pump into our heads all the fucking time. And he's right. He's right about that.
Oh yeah, it is.
It messes with your memory. There's only so many things you can hold in mind.
Well, you know the term memory hole. That's from the book 1984, right? That's a thing. You remember that?
Yeah, also something Hunter Biden finds very sexy.
What?
The memory hole.
Oh, the memory hole. Yeah, he loves.
Yeah.
He loves putting his wiener in
No,
the
totally.
memory hole.
It just it overwhelms you. And so a story like this, if this is true, I'm not in New Jersey, and the videos, I don't know if I can believe them, but if people are really seeing these and you live nearby and every night for the past 2 weeks, you've walked out and you've seen these like massive bus-sized drones hovering and doing weird shit in your neighborhood. And the FBI is like, oh, don't ask us. It's just like,
we're the FBI. We're not
what?
the air. We don't get in the air.
And if law enforcement tells you what law enforcement is telling these people, which is this is what they're saying. They're saying that the drones are not a threat to residents. How do you know? You don't know what they are or who's operating them or where they're from, but you do know that they're not a threat to residents.
Yeah, well, we know that much. I mean, we do know that much.
What are you worried about? A bus falling on your head?
I mean, it's in the sky, stupid.
Yeah, you're not even close to it.
You're not even close to it.
I don't care if it's following you. It's way far away.
Keep your heads up. Keep an eye out. You know.
Yeah, call 911 when you can reach up and touch it. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. The article here says that unfortunately, this is an FBI spokesperson. Unfortunately, we don't have many answers, and we don't want to guess or, we
couldn't
hypothesize
guess
about what's going on. We don't want to speculate. You know, it could be aliens of color. It could be oppressed aliens.
That's true.
And we want to make sure they feel included.
These could be undocumented aliens just looking for better employment in the United States.
All right, and they had to build spaceship
Do you think aliens
drones.
would come across the galaxy for a better life in America?
I think if the technology was right, the Indians would have been flying those drones 200 years ago.
Yeah, they did not find the right element.
Yeah. And they're so nature. They brag about being one with nature. Should have found the right element in the ground to build spacecrafts.
Their major flaw was they just didn't have the same concept of land ownership as we did.
What was it?
Well, they just didn't believe that anyone could own the land. So we'd go and we'd say to them, "Hey, we'll give you so much money for this land," and they'd go, "You idiot! Sure, this guy thinks he can own land."
Right.
Yeah.
Shoot bows and arrows.
We told you we own the land.
Right. Can you imagine that? Like the first person first Indian who might have shot a bow and arrow, only to see like the guy just pull like a Uzi. All right.
A 19th century Uzi.
Right. It's a time traveler, probably.
They did have this air rifle. There was a somewhat semi-automatic rifle back then, but they weren't common. It was an air rifle. It was an Italian air rifle.
It's an 18th century air rifle, Uzi.
19th century.
I mean, that'd be an interesting experiment. Go back in time, which some people think these crafts are time traveling crafts, and just randomly leave Uzis in places in like the 15 and 1600s, and just see how history plays out.
See what happens.
Yeah, give me enough weapons and stuff. Bad Christian says they're already here, along with the lizard people living among us. So you think they're living among us, disguising themselves as humans, Bad Christian? Do you have any people in particular who you believe might be? I almost said Asians there. What I meant is aliens.
Brad.
Do you know anybody who might be pretending to be an Asian?
Do you have any illegal Asians?
Yeah. All right. What was one of the things they said here? So, this professor who is he directs the Advanced Air Mobility Lab at the New Jersey Institute of Technology.
Maybe he has an idea of what these are.
He does. That's who they said we should ask this guy, and he believes the drones are commercial or U.S. military operations. And
I wonder if any of doesn't any of our defense force couldn't the FBI call I don't know would that be NORAD or I don't know who
I don't know.
knows
I mean, maybe we
what's
could fly
flying?
our drones up there.
Yeah, and check it out. Let's get a better look at it.
Do we not have competing drones we can go use?
I don't know. Trump's president. I can't think.
We don't know where they are. We can't find them.
Why don't you ask Donald Trump what they are? You voted for him.
Trump's gonna round up our drone operators. And he also said there are companies in New Jersey that are defense contractors that do swarming of drones. So they know how to do that. And that there are enough smart people now in the world and in the U.S. and in New Jersey that if they really wanted to, they could start experimenting with swarms of drones. That seems to me to be the most obvious answer, that it's us experimenting.
What's scary is they're working on drones that can fly through forests. Those will kill you. Those are the ones. Those will be the
bumblebee drones.
Yeah, when these drones when those drones are in existence, that will be how all free people eventually die, getting chased through the forest by government drones.
I mean, I definitely believe that they've been working on a bumblebee drone for a long time now, and I played these clips from I can't remember which think tank it was that had all these military people talking about the drones that our government is currently working on. This was a couple of years ago. That is drones combined with brain chips that would enable soldiers, when they're surrounded by an enemy, to think a swarm of drones into the area and have it kill everybody who's approaching them. And also that they could communicate with everybody on their team without speaking through these brain chips.
Someone make this movie. This would be so cool.
I mean, this is some shit that they were working on at least 4 years ago when I found this discussion that they were having about it. I mean, it's crazy. So, yeah, it's not believable.
I am one of those believers, though. I do believe that we have there is advanced technology being hidden from us.
Of course, dude.
That's what I believe.
If you're the first person to get an invisibility cloak, you're not telling anybody about it.
Yeah.
You're keeping it for yourself. And to get out of here, I appreciate you joining me.
Yeah, man.
Ian,
Super
discussing
fun.
these very important subjects in our world. The writer of the song, the YMCA, Trump's favorite song, insists that it's not, as the media continues to tell us, a gay anthem.
No. That's not true.
He said that. No, he said it's not gay. He said that people make the mistake of assuming that YMCA is gay because his co-writer for the band is gay and almost everybody else in the band is gay. But he himself is a heterosexual, and it is him alone who wrote the song YMCA. So therefore, the song YMCA is not a gay anthem. It's just an expression of a straight heterosexual young man who really enjoyed in his youth staying nights at the YMCA with older men. Mm-hmm. That's all it is.
That's very innocent.
He's not gay, he promises. And he also, at first, told the Trump administration or his team, please don't play my song anymore, even though Trump can because they paid for the rights to it. Because he was pressured to. So he's pressured by this media who continue to call his song a gay anthem, despite him. He's been telling people this for years, actually, that his song's not gay. Stop saying that. But these people calling it gay pressure him into telling Trump to stop using it.
I love that Trump uses that song, by the way.
It's hilarious.
It's so fucking funny.
And this guy tells them, he gives into the pressure.
Yeah.
Trump doesn't stop. They continue to call it. They basically say, okay, faggot, with your gay fucking song, faggot. They continue to do that to him. And so he changed his position and decided you can use the song because he witnessed the joy that he feels Trump actually has when he hears that song. And he didn't want to take that away from him. And also, for the first time ever, it's number one on whatever the song shit is. So like it was never that before until Trump, and he's like, he admitted we're making a lot of money off of it. So
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yes. So make no mistake, YMCA, not gay, according to the writer of it. And that's all I have for today.
Wow. Thanks, Brad.
No, think about it. I want you to swirl that around.
Oh, I'm swirling it.
All right, we'll be back next week, maybe tomorrow. I might be back tomorrow, and we'll do it again. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for dealing with all the technological difficulties and for tuning in for 2 shows. So some of you guys, I very much appreciate it. Propagandafight.com. Ian, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Hello Covello. You can also follow my fun parody account, Reginald Vandermeer. That's at Reginald V Actor. Both of those are on X.
You won't find a more perfect straight fag than Reginald.
I got to get back on there. I haven't been inhabiting him in a while.
Whenever I need to like figure out how to get in the mind of a progressive, I'm like, I got to go look at what Reginald's been saying.
Yeah, he's pretty predictive.
And
I can't take responsibility for him. I think Reginald comes through me and just
into others.
I'm just a conduit for Reginald.
You black out whenever you become Reginald. You don't even know what you tweeted. All right. Thanks, Ian. Thanks, guys. We will talk next time. Have a fantastic rest of your evening.